Hi everyone, I'm Krithika from the Beaded Bazaar. In today's video, I'm excited to show you how I made the Be Still My Heart napkin holder or mail holder. I hope you enjoy the tutorial and don't forget to head over to tinypandora.com for your free project PDF.
Here's a list of tools and supplies you'll need for the project. You can get the full list in the free project PDF, downloadable at tinypandora.com. The first step is to create the 6 hearts I need for this project. I have 2 ounces of clay rolled out there. That's yellow gold glittered clay from Primo, about the height that I need for the silk screen. I'm doing a piece with 4 hearts first. So I'm burnishing the silk screen shiny side down, and I'll apply some acrylic paint on a scraper. You can use an old credit card if you like, or a gift card, or a hotel key card like I'm using here. This is actually from IndieJam 2018. And here you can see I'm scraping down on the silk screen, making sure I cover all the design with the paint. As usual, I applied a little less paint than I needed, so I'm adding some more and going back over the areas that I've missed. Once I'm happy with the coverage, I'll start peeling the silk screen back. If I feel like I've missed a spot, I can also lay down the silk screen back there and cover any areas that I've missed. So my silk screen is washed and my paint is dry on the clay, and I'm punching out the heart shapes with the corresponding cutter that comes in the kit. Giving the cutter a little shimmy like that will usually make sure it releases from the clay easily, but if it doesn't, you can use your finger to poke out the clay from the cutter the way I did there. Make sure your paint is dry here, otherwise your design will smear when you do this. So here I have all 4 of my hearts, and I'm just going to take up all the remaining clay, recondition it, and use it for something else. Along with the hearts, I like to prep the first layer of the base. This is a sheet of graphite pearl rolled out at the second thickest setting on my pasta machine. I have it on a sheet of deli paper, and I'm burnishing a paper template on there. I'll use a tissue blade to cut off the straight edges first and go over the rounded edges with a more precise knife. This template is included in your free project PDF in a couple of different sizes, but you can also cut it out freehand if you want. Having this on a piece of deli paper or any paper really makes it easy to rotate as I cut. And once I'm done, I can take off the template and flip it over and just peel off the deli sheet. I'll go away and bake the hearts and the base and come back for the next step, as you can see here. For the walls, I have a textured piece of graphite pearl clay, a little bit thinner than what I used for the hearts. This is on a piece of deli paper, texture side down, and I'm placing the baked hearts coated with liquid clay on there. Once I have them in place, I'm going to press the hearts down just a little bit and cut off the excess. The way I like to do this is to use a needle tool to mark a groove around the baked hearts, and then I'll follow that groove with an X-Acto knife or scalpel blade. This gives me a nice clean edge, and I don't cut into the baked hearts this way. Once I go all around the edges, I can peel the excess off and flip the hearts over and take off the deli paper. Handle it very carefully at this point because the joint between the hearts is quite delicate. I'm also going to complete the base at this stage. I have the baked piece coated with liquid clay on the deli sheet, and I'm adding a thin layer of pearl clay to that liquid coated side. This is the point where I embed the washers So I'm using a sheet of clay that's about the same thickness as the metal washers I have, cutting off the excess the same way I did before, using a tissue blade first and then going over the edges with a precise knife. I'm using a ruler to mark the halfway point in the base, and I'm going to use a circle cutter that's about the size of my washers to cut out 2 holes in this pearl clay. Once I have the clay peeled off, I'll nudge the washers in there. You do want it to be a tighter fit rather than a looser one to avoid any lumps and bumps on the top surface. With the clay that I removed, I'm going to take out 2 tiny circles of clay to put into the hole right in the middle there. This will ensure the top layer sits more evenly and doesn't sag at those spots. And you can see my clay is sticking in there because I'm punching in on the area that has the liquid clay, but you can poke it out with a needle tool or a scatter blade. I'm going to go over all of this with my roller just to even out the surface a little bit. It's okay if it isn't perfectly even, and you can also burnish it down with a deli sheet if you like. All of this futzing about is going to cause the clay to bulge out a little bit, so I'm just re-trimming it here. Now I'm going to add a thin piece of textured 18-karat gold clay on top of all of it. I don't need any liquid clay because this is raw clay to raw clay. And using textured clay makes it easier to hide any imperfections that might be there in the layer below or even in the sheet itself. This is the texture sponge that I used, and I'm just laying this on top and pressing down again with my fingers and my clay roller to make that surface as even as possible. For the last time, I'm going to flip it over, trim off all the excess, just exactly the same way I did before. Now I'm going to use my finger to smooth out all the edges, make sure it's clean and neat, and I'm going to bake this and the 2 sides that I created and come back for the next step. Once the sides are baked, this is the point at which I like to color them. I have an assortment of markers there. The first one I'm using is a Blitz Studio marker. These are inexpensive markers and work very well with clay. It's the first set that I got. After that comes my favorite, chameleon markers. These come in a wide range of colors and blend beautifully on clay. Finally, I have a small set of pro markers. I don't use these as much, but they also work really well. Once I color in all 6 of my hearts, I like to heat set them by just baking at a regular 275 with the rest of my clay for at least 30 minutes. And then I glaze it with liquid Kato clay and bring it up to a nice shine with a heat gun. I always like to glaze my glitter clay with a shiny top coat because I think it really brings out the glitter effect on it. And you can see that here, this side has been glazed after being heat set, so the colors don't bleed. And you can see the glitter just sparkles and comes alive on that, versus this one, which has just been heat set. If you like this effect, you can of course use a matte sealer. I just really like the blingy effect that you can see here. So both my sides have been colored, heat set, and glazed. Now is the time to assemble the whole thing by attaching them to the base. I'm applying some bacon bond at the base of the 2 sides. This is some old thick stuff I have in a jar for ease of use. I always prefer using liquid clay to attach two pieces of clay together because I think it makes the best bond. If you find something that works better, do share. I have the baked base on a tile, and this tile is going to go straight into the oven once I'm done attaching the bases. I'm using a ruler to find the center point of the base so I know how to align the sides. The heart cutter is placed there upside down to support the walls and prevent them from caving in inwards. And a little drop of super glue at the base there just gives me a little more security while I put all this together. Even if it loses its effectiveness in the oven, the liquid clay will grab hold by then. Once I'm happy with the placement at the side, I'm going to put a little glass jar to make sure the wall doesn't fall outward. Any oven safe vessel will work. Make sure it's a little bit tall and not too lightweight so it doesn't get knocked out. On the other side, you can see I'm using a tomato paste can, which also works very well. Once I'm happy with the way things are placed, I'm going to pop all of this into the oven and cure it one last time. Here it is, all baked and finished up. The glazed hearts are so shiny and sparkly. The walls are on there reasonably straight, but they are super secure and are not going to come off there without a fight. The base is nice and heavy with the washers. This is another one that I made with white gold glitter clay as a base. This one I didn't heat set before I glazed it, and you can see some of the inks have run as I ran a paintbrush over it. It's still pretty nice, I think. So do give this a try and share your results. I would love to see what you make with it.